Under a sky bleeding orange with fire and smoke, the jungle trembled with gunfire. The radio was dead. The squad was down, and the medic Corporal Sarah Connors was crawling through mud that stank of blood and gunpowder, dragging her unconscious commander by his vest. Her fingers were raw, nails cracked, the pulse in her ears louder than the shots snapping overhead. The enemy was closing in fast, but she didn't stop, couldn't. Come on, sir, just a little further. Her voice was hoarse, trembling, almost swallowed by the chaos. Captain David Hale, her commanding officer, lay pale and bleeding, his left leg torn open by shrapnel. His rifle was gone, his eyes half open, dazed. "Leave me," he muttered weakly. "That's an order." Sarah ignored him, teeth clenched. "You can court-martial me later." She pulled again, muscles screaming. The smell of cordite and burning foliage filled her lungs. The world had turned red and black, the kind of red that only comes when the world starts bleeding with you. Bullets struck nearby trees. Bark exploded into her face. She ducked, covering the captain's body with her own. The ground vibrated as mortars fell somewhere beyond the ridge. For a moment, she closed her eyes and felt something she'd sworn she'd never feel again: fear. But then, beneath it, came something sharper: purpose. 3 hours earlier, the squad had been moving through the valley, a routine patrol through enemy-infested jungle near the Corporal Ridge. Nothing unusual until the ambush. An explosion tore through the lead truck. Then came the rain of bullets. The comms went dead, and the platoon fractured in seconds. Sarah had been thrown backward, her medic kit scattered. When she woke, half the squad was gone. The rest were pinned. And Captain Hale, her mentor, the man who had once told her, "You don't measure courage in noise, Connors. You measure it in silence," was hit. That was the moment something inside her broke and rebuilt itself in fire. Now, in the chaos, Sarah spotted it. An old supply trench about 50 meters ahead. Cover. She took a deep breath, grabbed his vest again, and began to drag him. Every pull tore at her shoulders. Every inch was a battle. A voice echoed in her head, her father's voice, long gone but never forgotten. "A medic doesn't run from the wounded. You run toward them, always." She had buried her father's dog tag inside her boot before deployment. He had been a field medic too, Vietnam 1971. Never made it back. And now, here she was living his echo. The trench was close now. She gritted her teeth, dragging Hale through the thickening mud. A bullet ripped past her shoulder, grazing her sleeve. Another struck the ground inches from her knee. She kept going. When she finally reached the trench, she dropped beside him, her arms shaking violently. She tore open her med pack, hands steady even as the world roared. Field dressing, tourniquet, morphine. "Stay with me, Captain," he groaned, barely conscious. "Connors, the mission you need to." She cut him off. "The mission is keeping you alive." He tried to lift his head, failed. "They'll flank the convoy. Intel drive, you have to." Her eyes darted toward his pack. The encrypted drive, the reason they were here. If it fell into enemy hands, every outpost in the region would burn. "Where is it?" she demanded. He motioned weakly toward his side pouch. She found it. Metallic, heavy, still intact. Then another sound. Footsteps, dozens, getting closer. Sarah looked up. Shadows moved through the smoke. Voices in another language. They were surrounded. Her breath came short and quick. She had no weapon, just her sidearm. 3 bullets left, and a commander bleeding out beside her. Then she saw it, his M4 rifle half, buried in the dirt 10 feet away. She locked eyes with him. "Sir, I need your weapon." He nodded weakly. "Take it." Sarah took one final look at the man who had believed in her when no one else did, and crawled out of the trench. The world above was chaos. Bullets hissed through the smoke. She slid forward, heart hammering so loud she thought it would give her away. Her fingers touched the rifle's grip, cold metal, salvation. She snatched it up and rolled just as a burst of gunfire tore the air where she'd been. Her instincts took over, years of drills, endless training. She fired back. 3 short bursts. 3 silhouettes dropped. Silence, then shouting. The jungle came alive with movement. She sprinted back to the trench, slung the rifle over her shoulder, and pulled Hale closer to cover. Her mind was razor sharp now. Every muscle burned, but she felt invincible. She checked the drive again. Still safe, the radio crackled weakly, just static. She twisted the dial, praying, then a faint voice. "Echo Team, this is Falcon. Sitrop." Sarah grabbed the mic. "Falcon, this is Medic Connors, Echo Team. We're pinned grid 5-1-7 by the ridge. 2 Kia, 1 critical, requesting evac and fire support." The line buzzed. "Copy, Connors. We're 20 minutes out. Hold position." 20 minutes. She had to hold against an entire platoon. She checked her magazine, 30 rounds. Then the extra mags on Hale's vest, 50 more it would have to do. The first wave came, fast shadows through the trees, flashes of light in the smoke. Sarah waited until they were close, then unleashed precise, rhythmic fire. 3 down, 4 more moving. She didn't shout, didn't breathe. Her movements were mechanical, her eyes cold and steady. 1 shot, 2. Silence. Her father's words echoed again. "You're never outnumbered if you don't let fear count." Blood dripped from her sleeve. A graze. She ignored it. Her world had narrowed to one thought: finish the mission. She reached over, grabbed the encrypted drive, and tucked it into her vest. "Hang on, Captain," she whispered. "You're not dying here." Another burst of gunfire raked across the trench. Dirt exploded around her. She ducked, gritted her teeth, and returned fire. The battle lasted forever, or maybe it was only 10 minutes. Time had lost meaning. When the last man fell, Sarah realized her rifle was empty. Her hands were trembling, her face streaked with mud and sweat. She looked up and saw a helicopter breaking through the smoke. Rescue. She fired a flare, collapsed beside Hale, and laughed through exhaustion. As the medics rushed toward them, she clutched his hand. His pulse was weak, but there, mission complete, she murmured. Days later, at the field hospital, Captain Hale opened his eyes. The first thing he saw was Sarah sitting beside his bed, her uniform clean now, but her eyes haunted. "Connors," he croaked, "did we?" She held up the encrypted drive, delivered to command, mission's done. He smiled weakly. "You saved my life." She shook her head. "You saved mine. You taught me what to stand for." He looked at her, pride softening his face. "You're more soldier than anyone I've led." She hesitated, voice breaking. "Sir, when you told me to leave you, I almost did. For 1 second, I thought about it." He reached out, gripping her hand. "And then you didn't. That's the difference between orders and honor." Her eyes shimmered. "I just did what a medic does, sir." He smiled. "No, Connors, you did what a hero does." Weeks later at the award ceremony, she stood in full-dress uniform as the general read her citation aloud. "For extraordinary valor under fire, risking her life to save her commander and complete the mission, Corporal Sarah Connors is hereby awarded the Silver Star." The crowd erupted in applause. But Sarah barely heard it. Her eyes were fixed on the flag fluttering above, the same flag that once draped her father's coffin. She touched her boot, feeling the cold metal of his dog tag. "I made it, Dad," she whispered. When she stepped off the stage, Captain Hale was waiting. He handed her something, a small metal case. Inside lay her father's old field badge, polished clean. He'd want you to have this, Hale said softly. She blinked back tears. How did you? He smiled faintly. I had it restored. You're the reason I'm standing here. Least I can do. That night, Sarah stood alone on the tarmac. The sky was quiet. Stars stretched endless above. She remembered every moment, the drag, the rifle, the blood, the fear. But what stayed with her most was the silence in between, the calm that came when she stopped doubting herself. She raised her hand in a silent salute to the horizon. They'll never know your name, Dad, she thought. But they'll remember what you taught me. As she turned to leave, the base lights flickered across the polished metal of her badge. And for the first time since that day in the jungle, she smiled. Because the world would remember Corporal Sarah Connors not for how many lives she took, but for the one life she refused to leave behind. And somewhere, in the quiet between heartbeats, her father's voice whispered again, "Good girl. You finished the mission."